Stretch and palm walking towards the elbow. And out again. Back in towards the elbow. And down again. Same routine as the legs. And stretching the hand. Thumb walking in the middle of the arm. Between the bones, the radius and the ulnar bone. And then above the elbow, you go underneath the humerus bone. Always working into the soft tissue muscle. Keeping the movements rhythmic and working as deep as you can with slow progressive pressure. Palm walking up and down the arm. And stretching the hand. Repeating on the outside arm, stretching, one hand on the wrist, on the other at the top of the shoulder, walking into the elbow. Walking out. Back into the elbow. Working the energy lines of the arms is stimulating the Zen lines and balancing the energy flow throughout the body. Alleviates tension in the arms and good for achy arms. Thumb walking. Ensure the movements are flowing. Kneading the hands. Thumb sliding, and then one thumb and then the other thumb. This is to relax the hand. Interlacing your fingers, pressing the 6 points of the hands, 1 and 2 below the wrist, 3 and 4 in the centre of the palm, and 5 and 6 above the knuckles. Thumb pressing on the hand just below the wrist. And then thumb pressing towards the thumb and the little finger, changing to thumb circles when you reach the knuckles. And pressing the tips of the fingers. Repeating the thumb press again. And working towards the second and fourth finger. Changing to thumb circles. This is stimulating the Zen lines. And thumb pressing just on the hand below the wrist, and then pressing towards the middle finger. And then changing to thumb circles when you hit the knuckles and bones. Kneading. Thumb pressing, you'll feel a depression just on the hand in the center, and then thumb circles between the lines, and then thumb circling the thumb and the little finger. Pressing again, the start of each line. Between the tendons you're working. And then working the middle finger. This is stimulating the Zen energy lines of the hand. Pressing between the fingers, gently pressing. This is working the lymphatics. Needing to relax in between the movements. Interlacing the fingers, rotating the wrist. This loosens and improves the flexibility. Five rotations. You can also rotate anti-clockwise as well. Rotating the thumb and fingers, clockwise and anti-clockwise, and then gently pulling. This is loosening up the joints of the fingers. It's a gentle rotation and pull. Pressing the point known as Hegu, which is very good for many types of pain: headaches, toothache, abdominal pain and general body pain. Stretching the fingers and bending back. Placing the hand on the floor, cupping the elbow and stretching, palming and stretching at the same time, palming down the leg. It's a gentle palming movement. Very powerful stretch for the shoulder. And a gentle kneading with the fingers and thumbs, and knocking. And slowly pulling the arm, and you see the head move with the movement, and giving it a shake. And just stroking down the arm to finish. Stretching, one hand below the armpit and the other on the wrist, walking into the elbow, and out again. And following down. And stretching again. Thumb pressing up to the elbow, and then above the elbow, below the humerus, up towards the armpit. And then it's the centre of the arm between the bones, the radius and the ulnar bone. Palm walking up to close the movement. And following down. And stretching the hand. So working the energy lines is stimulating the energy flow through the Zen energy lines of the body. And repeating this on the outside arm. Rocking from side to side with the palm walking. Working on the centre from above the wrist up to the elbow, and then underneath the humerus bone. Up to the shoulder. Slowly pressing in with the thumbs, keeping it rhythmic and even, steady pace. Evenly spacing. Finishing with the palming and the stretching of the hand. Kneading the hand, thumb sliding, both thumbs together, and then walking to relax the hand. Pressing the 6 points. Thumb pressing on the hand just below the wrist, and then thumb pressing towards the thumb and the little finger, changing to thumb circles when you reach the bone, and pressing the tips. This is stimulating the Zen energy lines, and like the feet, it's working the organs and structures of the body. Kneading the hand, working the 4 lines with thumb circles between the tendons, and along the thumb and little finger. Again, this is stimulating the Zen energy lines. Ensure you're making nice, slow thumb circles. And then thumb circling the middle finger. Pressing between the thumb and fingers and between the other fingers. This is working the lymphatics of the head and neck. Rotating the wrist, always supporting with one hand on the wrist. Slow, smooth circles. You can also work 5 times anti-clockwise. Rotating the thumb and fingers and gently pulling. This is loosening up the joints of the fingers. And then pressing hegu, which is between the thumb and the first finger. Stretching and bending the fingers back. This is clearing the blood vessels. Placing the palm down on the floor. And leaning into the stretch whilst gently palming down the thigh. A gentle kneading and knocking. Slowly pulling the arm. Lovely stretch for the shoulders. Shaking and stroking. Clasping the client's wrists I'm slowly lifting up the arms one at a time alternately. You can repeat this movement a few times. Releasing tension in the shoulders. And then stretching both arms together. Back. And pushing away, palming the shoulders, both hands together, and then walking. And now I'm using the thumbs on top of the shoulders, thumb pressing both thumbs together. And repeating the walking. And palm pressing for up to 10 seconds. This is releasing tension in the shoulders. I'm lifting the neck up with my fingers at the back of the neck whilst the head remains on the floor. This is stretching the neck muscles. And I'm stroking up the back of the neck, one hand and then the other. And then using finger circles into the soft muscle. Now I'm finger circling up the neck. And then I'm thumb pressing. You'll see this in more detail on the other side. And stroking the neck. Shampooing the hair. Gentle finger circular. And thumb circling the whole hand. Trying to actually move the scalp. And then palm pressing the shoulder. Lovely stretch for all the neck muscles, the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius muscle. Repeating on the other side. Here you can see the finger circling. And into the muscles. The neck and shoulders are often an area which carry a lot of tension, which need time spent on them. Thumb pressing. Relaxing, stroking up the neck. Shampooing. I'm going to cover all the areas of the head. Pushing the shoulder away, palm pressing for up to 10 seconds. Slowly rolling the neck from side to side. A few times. Now I'm thumb pressing, double thumb pressing. Thumb on thumb from the crown of the head to the hairline. And walking back, one thumb over the other thumb. This can be repeated. And walking back. Very good for headaches and concentration and to calm the mind. Thumb sliding, relaxing, gentle movements on the face. Thumb circling at the temples. This must be included in a massage, a face massage. Very calming for the mind. Relaxes the muscles of the face. Good for headaches and concentration. And improves circulation to the brain. Very blissful to receive. I'm sliding with my fingers now and then pressing between the eyebrows and just above on the third eye. And thumb sliding down the nose and around to the jawline. Above the lips, and then below the lips, and gently squeezing along the jawline. And then finger circling just below the cheekbones. And gently pulling the ears. And then with my middle finger and thumb circling underneath the ears. And then placing my palm on the ears for up to 10 seconds. A very relaxing movement. And placing my finger again on the point of the third eye. Women lie on their left side first and men on their right side first. I'm pushing with the sole of my foot above the knee on the thigh, working up, bending and straightening my leg again. This is a very similar movement to when the client was lying on their back. I'm placing the client's foot underneath the back of my knee and holding at the heel, and then pressing with my other foot. Bending and straightening my leg again with the movement. Alternate walking up and down. Placing the client's leg across my shins, moving up, and using my fingers. I'm hooking into the outside line, 1, and pulling the muscle towards me. And walking back down. Supporting at the knee and knocking with a loose fist. Mindful how you come out of this movement. Realigning the client, making sure their back is straight. Palm circling the hips. And pressing the 3 points. Points 1 and 2 at the end of line 2. And point 3 is the end of line 3. I'm double thumb pressing on point 3. And gently circling again to relax after the thumb pressing. I'm now palming up the back, ensuring the heel of the hand is above the spine, so I'm not pressing on any bone, and I'm pushing away, pushing the body away from me, and then palm walking down. And then with my thumbs on energy line 1, which is above the spine, you'll feel a groove, and we're thumb pressing with both thumbs together. Placing the back of the hand on the back, and I'm thumb pressing around the shoulder blade, around the scapula. As I'm thumb pressing, I'm pulling the shoulder back towards me, and my thumbs are going right underneath the scapula. I'm now thumb walking back down, just above the spine. Repeating the palming, pushing the body away from me. And walking back down. Rotating the shoulder, slow, large circular movements. You can work clockwise and anti-clockwise. One hand's on the waist and the other hand is on the shoulder. I'm pushing on the waist and drawing the shoulder back to create a slight twist. Placing the hand on the floor. And I'm stretching. One hand on the elbow, trying to keep the arm in alignment, and the other hand's on the hip. And then a kneading with the thumbs and fingers, down and up the arm, and a gentle knocking. Stretching the arm. My other hand's on the hip, leaning into the stretch, keeping the arms straight. And applying pressure on the shoulder, and I'm gently palming the leg to keep the knee on the floor. The main pressure is applied at the shoulder. Cupping the knee in my hand, my knee is into the buttocks whilst I'm drawing back the leg. I'm finger pressing into the inside energy line 1 on the thigh. Drawing the leg back and then placing the foot very gently, zero pressure on the foot, which is on the lower back, which moves up and back down again. And the movement here is drawing the leg back slowly. Bending and straightening my leg with the movement. Again, you may need to adjust positions. You should take the client as far as you can until you feel resistance. Placing the foot underneath the back of my knee and foot pressing with the other leg. These movements are excellent for sciatica and hip pain. Relaxes the hamstrings. And then the walking is a more relaxing movement after the deeper stretches. Only perform this movement on flexible clients. The knee is bent at an awkward angle. And I'm pressing into line 1, the outside line 1 with my fingers. I'm drawing towards me. And then walking down. This is stimulating energy line 1. Gentle knocking up and down the thigh. Mindful how you bring the client's leg out of that movement. Palm circling the hips. Pressing into points 1 and 2, which are found at the end of line 2 on the buttocks. And point 3 is at the end of line 3. And it's like a triangle. And then a gentle palming. This is very effective for lower back pain and sciatica. Mindfulness of the pressure with the thumb pressure. And palming above the spine, energy line 1 on the back. And walking back down. With both thumbs together, I'm thumb pressing. Zen line 1 above the spine. You'll feel this groove. This is stimulating the energy flow of the Zen lines and releasing back tension. And improving and benefiting the internal organs. And now thumb pressing around the shoulder blade, around the scapula, whilst drawing the shoulder back. This is stimulating the energy flow around the shoulders and stretching the neck muscles and the pectoral muscles. Drawing the shoulder back at the same time as you're pressing in with your thumb. And synchronizing the movement. I'm now thumb walking back down, Zen energy line 1. It's essential to work the energy lines of the back either in the side position or later when the client is lying face down. And palming, pushing the body away from me to close the movement. The same as how we began, and then walking back down. Rotating the shoulder, which is improving shoulder mobility and stretching the neck muscles. And you can work 3 times clockwise and 3 times anti-clockwise, or 5 times of each. I'm pressing on the waist and drawing back on the shoulder to create a slight twist. Placing the hand on the floor and stretching, leaning into towards the elbow to creating a lovely stretch all down the side of the body, the latissimus dorsi. And then a gentle kneading of the arm with the fingers and thumbs. And knocking. Leaning in and stretching the arm. Again, creating a lovely stretch down the side of the body. Improving shoulder mobility. The heel of my hand goes into the pectoral muscles, the other hand above the knee, and the main stretch is into the shoulder whilst gently palming up the thigh. This is a very powerful stretch and improves the flexibility of the spine and is good for lower back pain. Ensure you're going slowly into the stretch as always. My knees going into the buttocks. I'm drawing the leg back whilst finger pressing into inside line 1. Move the knee down and then it goes back into the gluteus maximus again. A very powerful stretch. Very good for hip pain, sciatica and lower back. And working the gluteus maximal buttocks muscles. Now into the standing locust. The foot is placed on the lower back and is just there for support. It's not pressing in, and the movement is drawing the leg back towards me, keeping the leg as low as you can. It's a very powerful stretch. Ensure that these backward bends are not carried out on people with back problems or slip discs. When the client's lying on their abdomen, remember you cannot see the facial reactions. I'm walking the feet, one foot and then the other foot, and then facing away from the client using my heels. I'm always working between the ball of the foot and the hard heel pad, transferring the weight from one foot to the other. This is toning the internal organs, and you require a lot of balance. Only attempt if you have a lot of balance. And then my weight is taken onto my hands, and I'm transferring the weight from one knee to the other knee. Again, working from below the hard heel pad and above the ball of the foot. Then clenching my fists, one fist and then the other fist. And then palm walking the feet, again between the hard heel pad and the ball of the foot. And then rocking the heels, one heel and then the other heel. And palming from above the Achilles tendon up towards the knee, above the knees, up to the buttocks, placing the heel of my hand into the buttocks and coming up into dog pose, classic yoga pose, and holding it for up to 10 seconds. and walking back down. When the client's lying on their abdomen, it may be necessary to place a cushion underneath their chest. This is optional. Rocking the heels again and walking the feet. Taking the heels towards the buttocks, first one around the ankles, the second press in the middle of the foot, and the third one around the toes. And working back again. 5 movements in total. This is releasing tension in the lower back and stretches the front of the thighs, the quadricep muscles and the ankles. Crossing the feet, making 3 palm presses. Changing the cross and repeating. This is stretching the ankles and feet and strengthening the knees. Using my body weight with the movements. Placing the foot at the back of the knee and then palming down the thigh whilst taking the foot towards the buttocks and using the same hand positions as before and palming down towards the knee with the other hand. Cupping the knee and lifting up. Three times. Awareness of the amount of pressure on the lift, leaning in towards the client. Now lifting up from the ankle whilst gently palming the back. Above the leg I'm lifting. And repeating on the other side. Ensure the client's legs are fairly wide. Palming down the thigh. Both these locust lifts improve the flexibility of the spine and the iliosacral area. They're good for sciatica, lower back and hip pain, and they stretch the abdomen and the front of the thighs, the quadriceps. Very little pressure when you're palming the back. And again, admit these movements, these backward bends, if clients have serious back problems or slip discs. Ensure you get very close to the client's hips. Here I'm stretching the heel and the hip, creating length in the leg. And then I'm forearm rolling up the thigh into the gluteus maximus muscle. Pressing down with the inner arm and then rolling. Now rolling down the calf. And returning back up before you reach the Achilles tendon, so there's no pressure there on any bone. And now with both forearms, rolling down the calf and up the thigh. Chopping, keeping the elbows apart and the fingers apart. Mindful of how you come out of the movement. Forearm rolling up and down the thigh. This movement is very good for lower back pain and relaxing the muscles of the leg. Ensure you're not working too close to the knees. You can either stand or half kneel or kneel for the energy lines. It's a good idea for the client to turn their head so they don't get a stiff neck during the time when they're lying on their abdomen. Butterfly palming, allowing space between the heel of the hands for the spine so there's no pressure on the spine. And it's essential to ask the client to breathe in, and on the out breath you're pressing down. If you can, synchronize your own breathing with the client's. Palm walking back down. And then working Zen energy line 1, thumb pressing either side of the spine. Exactly the same as working when we're working on one side of the spine and then the other, working the same energy line here. This is stimulating the energy flow in the Zen lines throughout the back, releasing stagnation and congestion. It's good for the internal organs and works the nervous system. It's essential to include this in a Thai massage treatment. Changing to thumb walking back down. Three points out along the iliac crest and thumb pressing back. And repeating the butterfly palming, pressing down on the out breath. And walking back down. Kneeling into the crease of the buttocks My weight is taken on my toes and I'm palm walking up the back. And down the arms. And ask your client to breathe in, and on the out breath you lift them up. Slow and smooth movement, slowly lowering to the floor. 3 times. Omit these backward bends on clients with back problems, dislocated shoulders or slip discs. It's a very powerful stretch, working the muscles of the lower back and the abdomen are toned, stretched and strengthened, and increasing the flexibility in the spine, opens the chest and eases upper back, improving the energy flow in the Zen lines. And here I'm sitting on the soles of the feet, which requires balance, and I'm just checking here by rocking backwards and forwards that it's a comfortable position. And lifting the client up slowly and smoothly, no jerky movements. Good for shoulders, opening the chest and the pectoral muscles and improving flexibility of the spine. This is an advanced movement and should only be attempted on flexible people. Placing my foot on the back only for support, there's no pressure there, whilst I'm lifting up the legs, repeating 3 movements in total. Good for hip mobility, lower back and sciatica, stretching the front of the thighs and the abdominal muscles. Again, avoid this if client has severe back problems or slip discs. And I'm placing my foot on the back of the leg I'm lifting. There's no pressure on the foot and no pressure on the arm. The stretch is coming from lifting the leg and releasing it in between the movements. 3 movements. And repeating on the leg nearest to you. This time you place the foot, or always place the foot on the side of the leg you're lifting. And it's 0 pressure on the foot. Repeating on the other side, always placing the foot above the leg you're lifting, and ensure your client's head is facing the arm you're lifting. Although there's 0 pressure on the arm, the pressure is coming from lifting up the leg. Should only attempt this on people of similar size and flexibility. It's good for hip and pain and sciatica and improves spinal flexibility. And good for the lower back. And I'm stretching away with my palms. Ensure you're not pressing on any bone. Lovely stretch of the spine. Using an away pressure. And here I'm finger circling to relax the back. And stroking and palm circular. Ensure your feet are up by your client's waist. And leaning back and pushing your hips forward. You may need to clasp nearer the elbows if someone's very flexible. This is stretching the lower back, good for the spine and shoulders. Nudging the knees to bend them, crossing the client's legs and pulling up. This is releasing the lower back, and on the third movement, very slowly walking back. A wonderful way to bring your client up into sitting position. If clients find it difficult to sit in this position, they may wish to stretch their legs out. Here I'm palm pressing the top of the shoulders, ensuring that you're not working on the bone. Changing my hands to point down the front of the body and repeating the palming. And then thumb pressing along the top of the shoulders. It's improving the energy flow in the upper back and the shoulders and neck. Often an area which is holding a lot of tension. In the sitting position, it's helping to improve the posture of your client. Working with awareness of the pressure. Repeating the palming. And now palming, butterfly palming down the back, either side of the spine, allowing space between the heels of my hand for the spine. And then walking back up. Clients may wish to stretch their legs out in this position if it's uncomfortable for them. And then thumb pressing, again working energy line 1 of the back, either side of the spine. This is releasing any blockages along the Zen energy lines. And it's essential to do a forward bend in sitting if you've done any backward bends, such as a cobra. To counterbalance the movement. Thumb walking back up. Now I'm kneading the shoulders and finger circling. Realigning the client's body. Placing the client's hand on the back and supporting with your knee. And now I'm palming around the shoulder blade, using the heel of my hand and at the same time bringing the shoulder back. Ensure the knee is not on the spine, it's on the other side of the spine. The client's hand and your knee. Thumb pressing around the shoulder blade, scapula. Whilst pulling back on the shoulder at the same time. All the way round. The thumbs will disappear underneath the scapula on flexible clients. And then repeating the palming. It's essential to include shoulder work in your treatment. Pressing with my elbow on top of the shoulders into the soft muscle, whilst at the same time bringing the arm up. Point 2 is at the superior angle of the scapula opposite the thoracic vertebrae. And point 3 is midway along the scapula. And pulling the arm back whilst kneading down towards the armpit and back up again. And knocking. And gently kneading and finger circling. This can be included at any time, trying to relieve any congestion. Repeating on the other side. Palming. These movements are excellent for relieving shoulder and neck stiffness and improving mobility. And it's working the pectoral muscles. Thumb pressing. And repeating the palm pressing. Pressing in with the elbow on top of the shoulders, being very mindful of the pressure. I'm on point 2 here. I'm just making sure that I've located the point by circling with my elbow and then lifting up, whilst applying pressure at the same time as lifting the arm. Very powerful stretch. Ensure you're not using too much pressure. It's good for improving shoulder mobility. Here I'm kneading whilst at the same time drawing the elbow back towards me. Very good for opening up the shoulders and improving mobility. Knocking. I'm kneading the shoulders, taking the neck to one side, and I'm forearm rolling on the top of the shoulders, using the area closer to your elbow and then I'm stretching, one hand on the shoulder and the other stretching the head. This is stretching all the neck muscles and relieving shoulder tension. Mindful of the pressure, and ensure you're not working on the bone. And stretching, holding for up to 10 seconds. And then with both forearms rolling I'm kneading the neck. Ask your client to drop their head forward for these movements. Pressing in with my fingers and thumbs into the soft muscle. Using the heels of my hand and a gently squeezing towards me. And then thumb pressing into the soft muscle. These are all very good movements for releasing neck and shoulder tension. And then repeating the kneading. Realigning the client's neck. Now I'm thumb pressing underneath the base of the skull, the occipital ridge. Changing hands and repeating out on the other side. This is releasing tension, good for headaches and improving concentration. I'm pressing the center of the back of the head. Very good for improving concentration and for headaches. Crossed my thumbs now. I'm working from the crown of the head to the hairline with my thumbs on top of each other. And walking back. And repeating the movement. And shampooing. Trying to move the scalp. Very good for relieving tension. Very relaxing movement. And stretching the arms up. Asking the client to interlace their fingers and place at the back of their head. Taking the elbows forward and back until you feel the resistance, and then make a slight lift upwards. Repeating three in total. This is good for opening the chest and improving shoulder mobility and posture, and stretches the latimus dorsi. Taking the client forward, slowly and smoothly. Ensure your client's posture is straight before we go into the spinal twist and the neck and head is aligned. There's very little pressure on the thigh with your knee. This may not be possible to do on inflexible clients. The body needs to be aligned properly. This is good for improving flexibility of the spine and easing lower back pain. Zero pressure on the knee. Stretching until you feel the resistance. Bringing the clients back onto your knees. Do not press your knees in, bring the client's body back onto your knees. Eases upper back and shoulder tension. And pushing in with my feet, which is creating the stretch. There's very little pressure on the arms. Pushing the balls of the feet in will bring the arms back. A lovely stretch for easing lower back pain and improving energy flow through the spine, opening the shoulder joints and the thoracic area. Kneading and finger circling. Realigning the client. Chopping on top of the shoulders and down the spine. Ensuring you're never chopping on the bone. It's always on the soft muscle. Good for energy flow and relaxing movement. And then stroking away. And thanking your client. I hope you have found this video a very useful resource. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your Thai massage.